I'm late, but better late than never. Let me see. Let me make sure everything's working. Let me see. Let me make sure everything's working. Oh my god, it is. Oh. I am terrible with planning things this week. I keep thinking I have more time than I do, or that like things are gonna go, or I'm gonna have take faster than I do when I'm like planning my gym workouts and the time crunches. Oof. But anyways, what am I doing? I'm making a 2010s anime series tier list maker because that's when I was watching a lot of those Japanese cartoons that people like, you know? So, how do we go about doing this? I don't know, because I didn't watch all of them. I'm not crazy. I watched a lot, but I didn't watch everything. So, the reason I had this idea is because I was kind of scrolling through, I was thinking of things to do, and this seemed like something I could do, and it seemed fun, because I actually have watched a good deal. I've heard something about all of them. Let's see, this I've watched while I was airing, this I watched while I was airing, I remember this I've heard about. Like, these are all stuff that I'm familiar with, or I know a little bit about at least, at the very least, at the absolute bare minimum. So, we're gonna chill, we're gonna have protein shake, and I'll reminisce about how the 2010s were for sure only a couple of years ago, right? They for sure weren't, how long ago were they actually? What year is it this year? It's, 2000 and... We'll pretend it's still 2020, just for the sake of my sanity. The passage of time scares me. So, we'll take a sip. We'll begin. You hear this? My protein shake. My blender bottle. It smells like shit. First up, we have Fate Zero, the prequel to the critically acclaimed Japanese erotic visual novel Fate Stay Night that follows the adventures of the father of the protagonist, Kiritsu. What's his name again? It's like I know it's Emiya. I tried getting into Fate actually, so I watched Fate Zero. I really enjoyed it. The action scenes are really good. The characters are cool, and for like 2010s, this decade, honestly, considered pretty peak. This has kind of got me into Fate. I'm not like super into Fate lore, but Fate Zero was interesting. I did actually end up watching Unlimited Blade Works, but I still don't know the Fate Stay Night, like the true route, I guess it is, because the visual novel splits off into 3 routes, which is Unlimited Blade Work, Heaven Field, and there's just Fate Stay Night, the regular route, the Saber route. But I watched Unlimited Blade Works. I tried playing the visual novel, and the visual novel for Fate Stay Night at least is like 13 gigabytes, and it was made in like 2005, and there's some really complicated scheme that you have to go through to actually just download and actually play it. Now, of course, you could just read all the scripts online, but like it's not the same, you know? They don't have the OST. They don't have such iconic lines like Tosaka's defenseless anus and the mana transfer system, which is literally just fucking. But I do want to put an S tier. I really did like it, but let me see. I don't want to give everything I liked S tier, because then that makes my list look kind of facetious, you know? It makes it just look like I just put everything I like in S tier. But here, I guess I can keep it in S for now, because it actually get me into an entirely new franchise of Japanese cartoons, but I can always move it later. Because this one was like the one that people were recommending, even if you didn't care anything about Fate. This I didn't watch. I know what it is though. It's Usagi Drop, which is the one where like the guy takes in like an adoptive daughter, and it gets kind of creepy because the manga, and I'll just leave it like that. People don't talk about it in the same way that people don't talk about the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. Because the adoptive daughter grows to like fall in love with him or something, and then they get married, I think. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I just know that like the people was like, it was turned from a heartwarming found family adopted daughter show into just weird incest-ish type shit. Hello, I'm taking a trip down memory lane. All of these shows that are on this tier list I found online are things that I've either watched or I've heard about, I know a little bit about. So I've only ranked one so far, Fate Zero, which is tentatively S tier because it got me into the new franchise, into a new franchise, and it was the one that people back in my day, people were saying you should go watch Fate Zero even if you don't know anything about Fate because it was cool, it was edgy, and it had all the makings of like the Fates while still having all the some random gifted you a sub, some Japanese random streamer. Hey, gift subs are cool. Now you can use that to study Japanese. Maybe he talks in slang or whatever. Fate Zero, S tier. Usagi Drop, didn't watch, but I heard, if you don't mind spoilers, it gets kind of weird and incesty. What is this? Hold on. What's this third one? Usagi Drop sucks. Even the I heard the anime was good. It's the manga and the ending that really fucks it up, right? Because I know it's just like heartwarming and everything. What is this? I didn't watch this. I have no idea what this is. Yeah, it was. And then that's where the anime stops and the manga continues and it makes it like incest. Which is kind of, to be fair, very strange. Very strange. I didn't watch this. I actually don't know what this one is. Which is weird because... ruined it. Oh no. Yeah, that happens a lot. Rushed endings and people just like wanting the romance. I don't know what this is, so I can't really grade it. Nichijou I did watch. Nichijou, I tried getting into once. I kind of dropped it, and then I tried getting into it again. It's like, wait, this is amazing. This is really funny. It also has really high animation quality for just like a random slice of life made in the 2010s. The gags are kind of weird, and they're all kind of non sequiturs, but this is a funny show with some legitimately good parts. I still go back in time and rewatch like some of the bits they had in there. So this is for sure S tier. Fate Zero, I might move down to A tier depending on how the rest of this list shapes out. Because again, I don't want to have everything that I like just be S tier. Bento. I did watch Bento. It's just, the premise was interesting, but phone screen too small. Phone screen too small? You're watching this from your phone? I guess so. This one is Bento. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is Bento. It's the plot synopsis is basically during Japanese convenience stores, eventually when the time gets late enough, they have sales on the lunches, on the pre-cooked meals. And the plot synopsis is there's a group of people who will fight others to get the half-price Japanese pre-made meals from the konbinis. Like, the premise was funny and it was interesting and weird, but I kind of dropped it. I watched like 5 episodes. I was like, oh, I don't really care for it. I don't remember anything about it either, other than the fact that I dropped it. It was interesting premise, but I think it just kind of goes to show that, like, just because you have an original plot doesn't mean that it's going to be necessarily good, right? Originality can only carry you so far. But for the most part, it's, like, pretty mediocre, even below mediocre. Like, I watched this show, or at least something of it. I legitimately don't remember anything. It is kind of there to pass time, but at the same time, it's like... if it's there to pass time, you could at least have like a standout fight scene or something because it's like an action show. But I legit don't remember anything about this show besides its premise and like this is the first girl you see, and there's like some other dude main character. I legit don't remember any of the names because I think I watched like over 10 years ago. Oh, this is... isn't this the one where the hahaha meme is from? Hold on a second. Hahaha meme. Iniro Mosaic. Let me make sure this is the correct show because I didn't watch it, but I know of it. Wait. Hahaha. Is that this show? The characters look similar. This girl is British. No? Either way, I didn't watch it. This, I don't know. This is Future Diary. So I remember when I was a young weeaboo looking for more shows to watch after watching the classics of Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and Code Geass. I remember this. What, this? This was, or Yume Nikki. What is it called? Future Diary. I read the plot synopsis on Wikipedia. I always thought about watching it. Mirai Nikki? Oh yeah, Yume Nikki's a different thing. And I was just like, I don't know. It seemed interesting because like death game, edgy, fun, and I just never got around. You're 9 years old. Jesus Christ. That's a perfectly fine thing. You're introduced. Well, if you have a yandere fetish, now you know why. Your awakening was when you were 9 and you watched, Gasai just like kill people for whatever the main character's name is. This I also didn't watch, but I know of it. This one I did watch. Oh, you're at your therapist, like, for some reason I'm just insatiably attracted to people who will kill for me and are madly and obsessively in love with me. I wonder why that is. Like, yes, did you watch Mirai Nikki when you were 9 years old? And like, yes, I did. That explains a lot. God, I forgot this one's name, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. It's just a kind of silly rom-com harem-esque thing. It's one of those shows you kind of watch to pass time, but it was definitely one of the better ones. I would say C is average, B is slightly above average, A is good, S is like GOAT tier. Or should it be the other way? How many tiers are there? I need to think of like a good way to distribute the tiers. This is either like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I guess this would be, it's like a high C, a low B. It's I can't make any friends or something like that. Those are just details when she's hot, true. I mean, the hottest thing about someone is, for real, their mental stability. What is this? What is this? Yeah, it's something Ganai, something Ganai. This, because all these Japanese cartoons have Japanese names that just get abbreviated in English. Haganai? It was Haganai, right? Yes, Haganai. Boku wo Tomodachi ga Sukanai is a Japanese light novel written. Yes. I remember this. I'd put it at C. Pretty average. Pretty stock standard rom-com. It was fun. One of the more fun rom-coms, I would say. Let's read the synopsis. He'll be transferring to a new school. He is determined to make a positive impression. Yeah, so people confuse him for a delinquent, but he's not. And he joins like this weird, was it the game development club, or is that not it? Or is that the other one? I don't think it was this one. It was blonde hair and intimidating expression. Although a month has passed, Kodaka is still alone to his notorious reputation. However, his life begins to change when he finds his fellow the Neighbors Club. Yes, that's what it's called. This is just about a guy who joins a high school and gets a harem. It was pretty mediocre, pretty par for the course in terms of 2010 like shonen harem animes, but it was still a fun watch. Penguin Drum, I hear, is really good. I've heard people love this one because I've watched the 7 episodes. And then I was like, yeah, this is interesting. I want to keep watching. And I just like never picked it back up. I don't know why. It's one of those things where it's like, I want to watch shows, or at least back when I stopped watching anime, I wanted to watch shows, but I just like didn't. You ever get that where you're something you want to do and you have a bit of free time, so you want to do it and you just end up not doing it. And that's a big part of my life, to be honest. But this seemed interesting, so I'm gonna rate this based on potential alone. It seemed interesting because it's about fate, and there's like a penguin drum, and they're trying to save there's these 2 siblings that are trying to save their sister, and there's also like, it seems vaguely philosophical and maybe a bit conceited and arrogant and masturbatory, but those are the best shows. Those are the ones that make you think and like kind of just jerk off to their own at depth. But I don't think I can fairly rate something like this without actually watching it fully through. So yes, we're off to a great start. 4 shows I've watched and 5 that I just haven't seen. Which one is this? Is this Guilty Crown? Guilty Crown was like how did people describe this to me? It was like, let me make sure that this is actually Guilty Crown, because I know nothing besides back in the 2010s. Yes, this is Guilty Crown. Back in the 2010s, some really popular anime content was like anime piano covers, and there was 2 guys that did a lot of those. There was Animens and To Ishtar, I think. And there was one Guilty Crown opening that everybody loved. It was basically like a modern day Grunge, even though I've never watched Demon Slayer. I do know the song Grunge. I don't remember the song at all now. But how did people describe this to me? Because I had a group of friends and we would just go around recommending Japanese cartoons to each other in the 2010s. And by the way, the 2010s were only a couple of years ago. I will not accept the fact that they were actually 5 years ago. Where did all the time go? Anyways. Didn't watch. I heard it was just like a worse version of Future Diary or a worse version of Code Geass. You were in kindergarten in 2010. Are you allowed to be here? Are you legally allowed to be on the internet? The fuck? Wait, kindergarten 5. I know how old you are now. I don't really care. It's 2024. No, it's not. The year is still 2020. We're still in lockdown. I can still make it big as a VTuber. The 2010s were honestly a weird time to like be watching anime, especially pre-Attack on Titan. You're old. Stop telling me that. I know. You don't go to a person in a wheelchair and be like, you can't walk. That's just mean and cruel, dude. But anyways, the 2010s were a weird time to be watching Japanese cartoons because, especially before Attack on Titan, they were kind of popular, but they were like still niche. It was like a big enough niche that you could find that there were large communities online, but not so large that it was mainstream like it is now, where you have people like actual athletes saying that they watch Japanese cartoons, and you have people like really hyped over Attack on Titan and Jujutsu Kaisen and all these other things. It was an interesting time to be alive, or at least into Japanese cartoons at the time. Chihaya Furu? Oh, I want to put it. Oh, it's so good. I'll put it A tier. Chihaya Furu? It's a sports anime. It's a drama. I actually read the entire manga. It ended recently. And by recently, I mean a couple of years ago. Probably in 2019, honestly. Honestly, when did Chihaya Furu end? Let me check really quickly. Chihaya. But basically, it's a competitive... It's a sports anime about a sport called Karuta, which is a Japanese game of basically, it's like tile matching, where someone reads one part of a classic Japanese poem and you have to go and touch the card with the other part of the Japanese poem. It sounds really obscure, but it's actually a very interesting sport, and it gets a little bit into the strategy of it in the show. But I think what really makes Chihaya Furu stand out is the different characters and their interactions, because you get to kind of learn about this character, Chihaya, the main character, and how her passion for this sport and how she affects others, because there's a large cast, because there's the entire club. There's the two main love interests. The cool guy who's going to be a doctor who doesn't know if he wants to continue playing Karuta in high school and whatever, but does it because she's in love with her, and she's kind of in love with him, but she also loves this guy, the genius Karuta player who puts it down for a bit and then picks it back up back in high school, who's also the grandson of like one of the greatest. It's fun. It's a fun show. It's dramatic. It's got all those fun shoujo tropes. Like, I'm gonna be real. People like shonen anime, but shoujo, I enjoy my shoujo drama every now and then. I might put this S tier. I might put this S tier and move it down, move Fate Zero down to A tier. I don't know. Maybe they're all S tier. Maybe they're all A tier. We'll move it like this for now. Nichijou is S tier. Comedy is the greatest genre ever. No one can ever change my mind. Which one is this? This looks really familiar. Is this Gangster? The 2010 shoujo anime. Yeah, there's a lot of them on here. Attack on Titan, you know. I've actually... How much shoujo manga have I read? I've read Last Game. Did I read Kaicho wa Maid-sama? I for sure watched Kaicho wa Maid-sama. What other shoujo manga are there? I think I read Orange. I think they made an anime of that recently. Or not recently, but like 5 or whatever years ago. The one that was... Actually funny, drama and romantic and not just fan service. Yeah. I mean, those exist. I agree. Shoujo's different. I mean, this is technically shoujo, but I like it more than some shonens. Because a lot of shonens just like battle shonens, and quite honestly, I CBA battle shonens anymore. I really don't care for them. They're not interesting. Unless it's like, I don't know. The most interesting part about a lot of battle shonens is like the power systems. Then those get old after a while. The only like battle thing that you could call a battle shonen that I actually really liked is Chainsaw Man. And I'm gonna be real, but that's not really a battle shonen. That's like philosophical and a commentary on what it means to be alive. And I'm gonna be real, I do a lot of reading. I think Chainsaw Man is like probably one of my favorite pieces of literature, like in all of like everything I've ever read. And I've read a lot of books. I don't want to sound snobby and bookish, but I've read a lot of books. And Chainsaw Man remains among my favorite books, like all of literature. So even though it was made in like, well, technically the manga was started being written in like the 2010s, so it still kind of counts. What's my favorite books? Chainsaw Man. What else is good? The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I read that book like 10 trillion times, and its sequel, and his other side stories I also have in hardcover because I'm a Chad. I also really enjoy Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman, some of the fantasy classics. Too hard to keep going. No, this is the Fujimoto secret. The night is always darkest before the dawn. He's going to end it. Fujimoto is in a class of his own in terms of mangakas. There's no one else does it like him. It's a lot. It's crazy. It's weird. But at the end, it's all, maybe it won't all make sense, but it'll all have a emotionally resonant conclusion. I've always believed that, like, you can have plot holes in your story if like the emotional arcs are completed. If I'd rather have something make me feel something and not fully make sense than for something to make perfect sense, but I feel nothing for it. Bro, look back, the movie, the trailer, I'm so excited. I will go by myself. I will go by myself 3 times. Every time I read Look Back, I cry. Did you read Goodbye Sayonara Eri? Eri? When I read Goodbye Eri, I cried. The vampire girl that watched films. Yeah, that's Goodbye Eri. I'm gonna have to buy some physical copies of this stuff. It's unironically peak. It's peak. Fujimoto can write compelling emotional stories. The Chainsaw Man is just him saying he can do shonen as well and bring his emotional depth of storytelling to the shonen genre. And it works. It works. He's a genius. He's my goat. Tatsuki Fujimoto, more like Tatsukino Fujigoto. The ones you read always... He's got one-shots from before he was popular. So if you ever read Fire Punch will also make you feel like shit. You'll be weirded out and like disgusted, and you'll feel like depressed. And at the end of it all, maybe you won't even feel better, but it'll make you feel things. This is the beauty of Tatsuki Fujimoto. Now I'm gonna stop glazing Tatsuki Fujimoto for a little bit. Ooh, Fire Punch. Fire Punch is good. You know the Agni face memes? So let me show you. Agni face. The Agni face memes, these are great. This stuff, fantastic. This is a meme. Fire Punch, it's for sure not as polished as Chainsaw Man, but you for sure see all like the components of Tatsuki Fujimoto's signature of like his weirdness, his strangeness, his out there-ness, his alienness, as well as like being able to tell emotionally resonant stories. I think the plot is a little bit harder to follow. There's a lot of stuff that like doesn't really make sense, but all the elements of him are still there. It's like indubiously a Tatsuki Fujimoto manga. All right, back on topic, I suppose. His weirder one-shots I would recommend. They don't punch as hard as his more recent one-shots, but the one-shots that he wrote before he was like a legitimate manga author, before he was serialized, are still weird and interesting, and they have his mark on them, where they're like kind of strange, but they all are written to make you feel something. He's not appealing to like your sense of logic or reason. He's appealing to your emotions, if that makes sense. All right, back to zooming in. What is this? I feel like I've seen this before. Is it like Gangster or something? I don't know. I didn't watch. Hunter x Hunter, didn't watch. Another, didn't watch. All I know about Another is there's like an umbrella scene where like the umbrella kills somebody. Didn't watch. I heard it was pretty mediocre also. This, didn't watch. I have no idea what this one is actually. It looks like a mecha. What is it? No, I don't know. This one, didn't watch. High School DD. If I just wanted to watch pornography, I would just watch pornography. Didn't watch. This, no idea. Sword Art Online. Fuck Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online is the reason that the Japanese cartoons were ruined for this decade, for the next few decades, because it brought into this pure culture of Japanese cartoons the whole idea of isekai. But all in all, it was an okay show. I'll put it like D tier. D tier is like, I don't want to say it was good or it was average, even though objectively it was a good show for its time. The story kind of fell flat, and there was a lot of stuff that could have been done better. Is wasted potential, I think, is the widely agreed upon term. But out of principle and out of my hatred of modern day isekai, I'm putting a D tier. It's better than, I actually remember something from it, so it's better than Bento, but it's not good enough to hold up, you know? And this is the other work that the Sword Art Online guy made. Didn't watch. Kuroko no Basket, didn't watch. Daily Life of High School Boys comedy is the best genre. A tier. These two are still comedies. I still rewatch scenes from Daily Life of High School Boy. It's just a collection of bits, and it just feels like something I would do with my friends. Just like fuck around and make funny stuff. It feels like my youth. It's from 200 years ago. You know, it's a little... So that's why I put it there. A tier, maybe even S tier. I haven't really thought of like hard criteria for S, A, B, C, D. Again, this is a tier list based off of vibes instead of like actual like thoughts and criticism. This is Kokoro Connect, B tier. Kokoro Connect was interesting. It had an interesting premise where like they swap bodies and they can like read each other's thoughts. And it's such a high schoolers kind of going through the weirdness of puberty with some supernatural elements, where it's all like, oh, I don't know how they feel about me, but I can read their thoughts, or oh no, I'm in their body, I know exactly what they're thinking. And it's like interesting, weird. And the most notable part about this is this character says to this character, he's like, does a confession like, I've masturbated to you, and then at the end of the episode, she says back to him, I've masturbated to you too. And then they start dating. Like, I don't think it's at that episode. It's probably a few episodes after that. But that's like the most memorable part of the entire show for me. As well as the fact that I think, yeah, it's funny. It's like a coming of age supernatural high school thing. And that whole part was played as like a joke. And it's funny. It's like a nice little shock thing. But it's not like a horny show. The only thing I remember, I think there was supposed to be a second season, but it got canceled because the voice actors were bullying like the other voice actors. Let me check. I don't want to be a bearer of bad news or false news. Kokoro Connect scandal. Yeah. So they were supposed to make a second season, but then they were like bullying or hazing some of the newer seiyus, so they never made the second season. The same reason why there's no, the reason why there's no third season of Haruhi Suzumiya is because the voice actor, what? The guy who lives on a, what the hell? I mean, this is certainly one of the plots of all time. The manga that got canceled with the girl who knew nothing about sex and the guy who lived on a sex. What the hell? That's interesting. But this thing is not like a horny thing. It's not about sex. It's like played off as a one-bit comedy thing, the masturbation thing. And it's like to show that you can like communicate openly or something. It was a weird, because I think the whole supernatural aspect was because of aliens, if I remember correctly. That wasn't hentai either. Yeah, there's a lot of shows that are like, how is this not hentai anymore? It is what it is. This is Battleship Yamato in 2199. Don't know. This is Kingdom. I heard the manga for Kingdom is really good. This is Hyoka. Hyoka, I always wanted to watch, but I could never find it on one of those illegal anime pirating websites with reasonable speeds and quality, so I never actually watched it. But I do want to. Maybe I will. I heard recently that the very popular Hyoka ship artists on Twitter like deleted all their stuff, so that's kind of fucked up because of some online harassment. With aliens, yeah. Honestly, it was kind of like Haruhi Suzumiya, but like light and a little bit hornier, but not really. Because Haruhi Suzumiya's The Goat also was made in like 2007 instead of 2010, so I don't think it's on this tier list. Hyoka I didn't watch. Hyoka I do want to watch. I already have wanted to watch, but again, I couldn't find a good anime pirating website that had it in decent quality for a while. But there's a really good music AMV that had Tatsuhiro Yamamoto, the city pop artist, song, Magic Waves, with just basically like bloom effects of different scenes from the show that I remember very vividly. And I actually still watch to this day, you know, because I'm permanently living in the 2010s, I suppose. We choose an era and our minds are stuck in it. For me, my taste in Japanese cartoons is stuck in the 2010s. I refuse to adapt to the times. So I would say didn't watch. I feel like I would enjoy it if I watched it, but again, haven't. This is the one about the brothers want to become astronauts, which is highly rated, but I didn't watch. This is Mysterious Girlfriend X, which I didn't watch. This is Sakura no Sakimichi no Apollon, which is a... Who's the guy that did Space Cowboy? Was it Watanabe? Sakimichi Apollon. Because the whole premise of this show is that it's 1950s Japan and it's about jazz, and this guy is a jazz drummer and he brings along this stupid nerd who plays the piano to become a jazz pianist in like post-war Japan. And again, I haven't watched it, but there's this scene where they're playing the jazz version of My Favorite Things from The Sound of Music, another jazz standard, and it's at like the school recital. They've had a big fight and everything, and I don't know. It's a good scene. It's a good scene with the context, and also I just like jazz music. When the Jerry Seinfeld Bee asked me, "You like jazz from the Bee Movie?" I respond, "Of course I like jazz. My favorite jazz pianist is Bill Evans." But the reason that this would have been something I wanted to watch was because it has that guy, Watanabe Shinichiro, who was the director for Space Cowboy, and he was also the director for another one of the shows on here, Zankyo no Terror, and he was the director for, what else was he the director for? Cowboy Bebop, Sakimichi no Paron, Samurai Champloo. And his whole thing is like the shows he makes are really infused with music. So in Cowboy Bebop, it was like big band jazz, I suppose. Here it's also jazz, but it's a little more modern jazz, not big band, but where I say 40s, 50s jazz. And then Zankyo no Terror, I think their thing was Scandinavian music, because he worked with Yuki Kajira. I'll get to Zankyo no Terror whenever it comes up on this list, because I watched it as it was airing, and it seemed really promising at first. And it was interesting. And then, I don't want to say it devolved, but it just became kind of a show about like kids who escaped a secret organization that were trying to make super geniuses, and they're like trying to take revenge. And again, it seemed interesting at first, and the animation was also very good for the time. The time being like 2015. But honestly, the main appeal of Zankyo no Terror, besides the director Watanabe Shinichiro, there was this really nice scene, I think it was like episode 7, where the one of the main characters takes the other main character, who's a girl who wasn't part of the Super Genius program, and it's this beautiful bike ride through the city with this really haunting like Scandinavian-esque music through it. It's a really good scene. I don't remember the context, but I remember the scene. This is like a common occurrence of me. I don't generally remember context of some of these, some of the stuff that I know. I just remember like how the emotions. I think that's a common human thing. It's like that whole saying where people might not remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. That's kind of what I do to media. I don't exactly remember what it was about, but I at least remember like how the media made me feel. So even though I didn't watch Sakimichi no Pollen or Kids on the Slope, there are scenes that I do enjoy from it, and I do actually watch. And again, if I did watch it, it'd probably be B tier. There's probably some flaws I could pick with it, but I like jazz. I don't want to say I'm like a huge jazz fan, but I have been trying to be more like musically cultured recently. I started watching, I watch video essays because I'm a lame-o nerd guy. A lot of my video essays that I watch, besides ones about like cinema and movie breakdowns, is like, there's 2 channels actually. There's the jazz piano guy, I think it's Charles Cornell, who talks about different types of, he just breaks down music stuff. And he did one where he reacted to anime or jazz and anime. So he reacted to stuff from this. He was really impressed. He reacted to a Gundam show as well. Which one's this? This looks familiar as well. Zoom in. Enhance. It's like those crime shows, you know? Enhance, enhance, enhance. What else is there? What show is this? This art style looks so familiar, but I can't tell it apart. Well, I know I for sure didn't watch it. And this one is Chaos Gate. Is this by the makers of Steins Gate? Is that by the makers of Steins Gate? It's like Chaos Head? Chaos Head. Chaos Head. Is it Chaos Head or is it a different one? Because I know the Steins Gate people made Chaos Head, Steins Gate, and they made other ones. Steins Gate's number 3 on MAL now? What the hell? I swear to God, the score inflation on MAL is crazy. Is that Psychopaths didn't watch? Is this? This is Air or Canon? I can tell because the eyes are really far apart. I can always tell those Kyo Ki Annie shows because the eyes are so large. They take up a quarter of the face and they're just 17 yards apart too. That's how you know. That's how you know. This I didn't watch. This I didn't watch. Sakura no Pet no Kanojo. I would say it's a solid C tier. Solid C tier. Actually, B or C. B or C. I'd say it's like C. I would rate these about the same, honestly. Actually, it's probably better executed than this one. But it's basically this girl like can't take care of herself, so everyone in the dorm takes care of her, and then he falls in love with her, and I don't remember what else. It's one of those another generic shonen rom-coms where they get together and then it ends. Blast of Tempest. Why does that one sound familiar? Blast of Tempest. I don't remember anything about Blast of Tempest. I for sure saw the title, and it was probably for sure one of those when I would go on my illegal streaming websites to watch my Japanese cartoons weekly. It was for sure one of the ones that was like, just released an episode and I just didn't care for. I think the setting was like a video game-esque type of thing. This one I did watch. Tonari no Kaibutsukan, My Little Monster. B tier. Better than Sakura-so, I'd say. It's kind of cute. Just the shoujo one where it's like aloof female protagonist. Weirdo male protagonist. They kiss on the first episode for something. Tonari no Kaibutsukan. I enjoyed it too. I don't remember if I don't think I finished. I don't think I continued the manga, but the show I enjoyed. I don't remember where the ending was. I thought it was funny how she would just kick him. Like I don't want to say like I'm a fan of abuse or anything, but I thought it was good. It was for sure enjoyable. I would put it above Sakura-so no Pet no Kanojo just simply because this one was kind of. I think there was some like weird drama in this one that I didn't really like. And this one was just basically the harem rail rom-com thing done better than this one. The shoujo manga stuff, the shoujo anime stuff, Tonari no Kaibutsukan, I think was better. And then this is Say I Love You. I think the whole reason I watched this one was because there was like a Demolition D anime review video where you compare to shoujo mangas or shoujo anime where you compare this one and Say I Love You. Because they have this very similar premise where the male and female lead kiss on like the first episode, and this, I don't know, that was just the comparison, and the whole point he was making was that this one does the whole shoujo show thing better. Say I Love You sucks. I've heard it's not as good. It looks for sure a lot blander. Like this, just even looking at the art style, like what the zooming is hard. Yeah, even looking at the art style, I can see the palette's a lot more bland. It doesn't seem as colorful. The characters look very same-facey. Even their hairstyles look the same. The male lead is just the female lead, but taller and in different clothes. It's just a self-cess show, bro. Look at it. Batum. I didn't watch it, but I heard of it. These are all familiar, like I said. There's a lot of stuff I didn't watch. But here we are. Magi I didn't watch. Isn't Magi based off like Aladdin, the original Aladdin tale or something? Wait, what's this? Is that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Oh my god, it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Wait, let me put this in the didn't watch tier first. I watched the first 2 parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I didn't finish watching Stardust Crusaders. But Battle Tendency was really good. I really liked Battle Tendency. I really liked Joseph Joestars. And now your next line will be, and then he says the thing, and then the guy says what the next line is gonna be, and then he dies. I like the big men beating each other up with the power of fancy sun breathing. I'll put it A tier. Why? Got me into another franchise, and it lets me understand like a lot of the other JoJo memes that were very prevalent in the late 2010s and anime community. They're even still there. The whole, is that a JoJo reference? That's the whole thing. The White Fox? What's the one, the White Fox? This one? What is this one? Let me see if I can read Japanese. What is it? I feel like I might have seen it before, or like I might have heard of it before, but I don't remember. I love to watch middle school. Oh yes, the most trustworthy source of media taste and critical acclaim, a middle schooler's favorite Japanese cartoon. You got bored of it when you rewatched it. That didn't sound good. I believe that if you enjoy something, it should hold up on rewatches. For example, I really loved what was it called? Toradora. I like Toradora, and it holds up on rewatches. I've rewatched it like twice. Chunibyo loved Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions? I'll put it here. Okay, now thinking more on it, I'll put this with Haganai tier, because again, I don't really remember anything about Sakura-so no Kanojo, besides I watched it, it was fun, but it wasn't like super memorable looking back with like a 10-year retrospective. like Haganai. Whereas I still do remember stuff from Chunibyo. It was cute. It had Toka, who would beat the main character with a ladle. It has its cute moments. It was funny. And there was funny gifts from it. So I put it in the same tier. Maybe here, B tier. It was a good show. Solid. Solid, one of those things you watch to pass time. So, Oregairu now. Oregairu. My favorite rom-com. Because it's kind of like I don't want to say a subversion of rom-com tropes. I don't want to be like, Oregairu's actually a deconstruction of the rom-com genre and the way that Hachima never... They're all he's the opposite of the dense protagonist, because my favorite character, anime Batman, they're all acutely aware of their feelings for each other and they're scared of breaking the status quo. I don't want to sound like a snob, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I like how none of them are stupid and they all kind of understand the status quo of their weird love triangle thing. And also we got good show out of it. I like Yukino, okay? She was my favorite. Yukino was my waifu. Don't tell anyone. Shh. It was a good show. What else is there? So that's S tier for sure. These two S tier. Babes. My baes. I Love Live, never watched. Touch Grass? What do you mean Touch Grass? Let me get snobby. Let me get snobby about anime criticism, alright? I used to watch anime reviews back in the day. I used to watch the snobby ones too, who broke shit down and be like, the Hegelian dialect the show is asking is, and according to Aristotelian philosophy, this is really reflective of the Socratic method of how Hachiman breaks down the entire character of Yukino's defenses. I got a little pretentious in here, all right? How can you be a streamer if you're not at least a little bit narcissistic, you know? Never watched Love Live. What is this one? Never watched it. Never watched this. What is this? Is that Aira from Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War? That can't be, right? They never made a Fire Emblem 4 anime. But yes, this is a deconstruction of the rom-com genre, and I love it, alright? They actually adapted the entire light novel into an anime too, and the third season is fantastic. What is this? I don't think I don't watch it. Hataraku Mao-sama? This will get an A tier. This will put in A tier. I think there's a bit of bias in this list because I really only remember the stuff that I enjoyed. I really only finish watching stuff that I really enjoy. So actually, I want to put this in A tier. Because, yeah, it's kind of based on anime, but I also know that the manga ending or the light novel ending kind of gets fucked up. Well, not fucked up, but like they fuck it up. They always fuck up the ending. These Japanese authors, they can't seem to like stick an ending, except for, of course, the GOAT. Oregairu's ending was fantastic. Chihaya Furu's ending was also really good. But again, I don't feel comfortable putting it in S tier because even though I really enjoyed it, I didn't like love it. Like I loved Oregairu and Nichijo. I'll demote it to B tier. Mao-sama is funny. It's good. There are some funny moments. And did they make a season 2 for this actually? I thought they recently made a season 2 for this after like not making anything about it for 20 or so years. Hataraku Mao-sama. Oh my god. The first season aired in 2013. The second season aired in 2022. What the fuck? Oh, wait, 2022. What the hell? And it got a 6.6. It got a terrible score on Mal. I will say though, the Mal score inflation is kind of crazy. Whenever I look at like whatever is top anime on Mal now, it's always like the flavor of the month most popular thing, regardless of whether it's actually good or not. Or I guess good is subjective, regardless of whether it's like I feel it deserves there or not. Because you've had Full Metal Alchemist at the top for like 10 trillion years. You've had Steingate at the top also for like 10 trillion years. And you see that like these votes are accumulated over like millions of members, right? And then now Soso no Frieren is at the top. And don't get me wrong, I read the Frieren manga. I'm caught up. I love it. It's fun. I don't like it more than I like Steins Gate. Steins Gate is probably top 3 for me. Like top 3, Japanese cartoons of all time for me is like Steins Gate, Gurren Lagann. I don't even know what the third one is. I haven't thought about it yet. Maybe the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. I haven't thought about that deeply yet. But I know those two are for sure at my top. And like, I liked Frieren, the manga. I didn't watch the anime, but I read the manga because I'm literate, I suppose. But it's also only 800,000 votes as opposed to like Fullmetal Alchemist is 3.4 million votes and Steins Gate's like 2.6 million votes. So I'm not sure if this is a fair comparison. Like, I was never a good statistician. But again, I'm not sure this is like fair score weighting or rates. But the only other anime rating website, I suppose, that's online is like Anime News Network, which I think is more immutable. I think their rankings are a little more permanent because of how their statistics differ. So might have to go check there. I don't know. I feel like ever since anime became popular because of Attack on Titan and its subsequent seasons, the MAL ratings, the My Anime List ratings have gone to, I don't want to say, there's been like inflation in the MAL ratings where people are just kind of rating their favorite stuff 10s and everything else 1s. I don't know. There's inflation in the economy, there's inflation in my anime rating score sites, like I don't know what's going on anymore. Also, I used to have an MAL account, but I can't access it anymore because I used a burner email to make, and I can't access the burner email. So my anime list account from like 2012 is lost in the sands of time. Let's see, Aku no Hana I didn't watch. What is this? Is this one of the other one I didn't watch? I watched the first season of Attack on Titan, and I also watched the second season of Attack on Titan. Now, this might be controversial. This might be a controversial take. I liked Attack on Titan. I really did. I thought it was really cool. I really liked all the mystery and intrigue. But I didn't like it more than anything in S or in A. I liked it more than most of the stuff in B, so it's like top of B, maybe bottom of A. But I didn't like it more. I don't care of the cultural impact it had. This is purely my vibes and taste tier list, so I get the say. I get the final say. You know? List, so I get the say. Oh my god. I'm just making sure everything works. So, because I got the final say, top of B tier, bottom of A tier, maybe I'll change it, maybe I won't. Let's see. What is this? Is that Aldnoah 02? Aldnoah 0? This is Danganronpa. You haven't watched it, though. You haven't watched Attack on Titan. Well, I've watched... It was the anime of the past decade. Well, I watched the first season, and I enjoyed the first season, but I didn't enjoy it more than anything in S or A tier. I also watched the second season as well. Look, people are like, the Bible was the book of the millennia. I don't care about the Bible. It was boring as fuck. I'll be real. I don't care if it's the word of God. What's he gonna do? You should have written a better book. This is my vibes tier. Let's make your own anime tier. I watched the first 2 seasons. I know what happens at the end. I know the ending memes. I know the 10 years at least. I know chapter 139 and how people hated it when it first came out. I remember when it released. I remember going to the discussion pages on Reddit to read what people thought about it, and how people hated it. It was scorned. It was shunned, that last chapter 139. I remember. It was around the same time the Game of Thrones ended, I believe. So because of that, we were already prepared for the bad endings. That was the season of bad endings, where Game of Thrones went from a cultural phenomenon to a flop, to a hated thing that nobody wanted to talk about anymore. It's actually impressive how they ruined Game of Thrones. It used to be all anyone ever talked about. It was in the cultural zeitgeist. Everyone loved it. George R. R. Martin, he's rolling in billions of dollars because of the show. And then they released the ending and nobody talks about it anymore. They talk about House of Dragons now, but who cares? Same thing with Attack on Titan. People loved it. It literally pushed these weird things that we watch into the mainstream. And then chapter 139 released and everyone hates it. It didn't ruin the stuff as badly as like the Game of Thrones ending, but it still for sure put a damper on it. I wouldn't even say that like the ending parts are what made it popular. The ending parts are just the further aspects of the commercialization. That's why we have like Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2, subheading 3, paragraph 4, word 10, the final part 2. You know, the whole stretching out of finales. I don't know. It was the first 2 seasons that really launched it into the mainstream, and I enjoyed the first 2 seasons, don't get me wrong, I liked them, but I didn't like them more than I enjoyed Danshi Kokosei no Nichijo, Chihaya Furu, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 1 and 2, Fate Zero, Oregairu, and Nichijo. I think that's fair. This is also, again, a tier list of my personal taste. Harumph, you have been thoroughly exposed or thoroughly outmaneuvered with my linguistic mastery. Basically, I just talk really fast and I don't know. Watamote. This was Bocchi the Rock before Bocchi the Rock was Bocchi the Rock. B tier. Alright there. Yeah, I'll say it. The anime of the decade, it was good. It was fun. It wasn't better than anything that I liked, though. I have superior taste. I'm not some person who's easily swayed by the opinions of the masses. I form my own opinions. And I also watch online YouTube video essays that critique media where I form my opinions. Anyways, people like Bocchi the Rock. Well, Watamote was Bocchi the Rock before Bocchi the Rock, and it was fun. It was funny. It had a lot of really cringe shit. Like, not cringe shit like is used nowadays to mean embarrassing. Like, you watched it and you felt the secondhand embarrassment. The true essence, the true distilled cringe of just like being a teenager in one show. This was it. Even more so than Bocchi the Rock. And for that, yeah, it's a good show. Fun, funny. It really captured the awkwardness of like existence. This I didn't watch. Silver Spoon I watched. Silver Spoon was a farming show or a farming anime that was written, or the manga was written by the same woman who wrote Full Metal Alchemist. And it's a good show. It was fun. It was interesting, but it's also not Full Metal Alchemist. I'll put it above... Wait, why is it this year? I didn't watch this. I'll put it above Haganai, because just for the sake of like being more interesting than generic not farming show. And I'll leave it in C tier. It's average, a little above average. It was a more interesting plot line than Harem Rom-Com number 1 and Harem Rom-Com number 2. But again, nothing special. Didn't have a kick to it like a couple of these other ones did. Actually, we'll move this down here too. These can stay. Oh, Log Horizon. So Log Horizon was isekai, but I actually liked it, so it was one of the good ones. And by one of the good ones, I guess like I took the whole idea of being trapped in a video game and made it interesting because it actually treated the world like a video game. It like gamified it. They tried to min-max and optimize what they knew about the world and what they didn't. And for that reason, I feel it's already a step above a lot of the other isekais, where it's like, why couldn't this just be a generic fantasy world? Because normally they don't really do anything with the setting. It's just generic fantasy world number 10. And the whole premise of the isekai is like, yeah, I was reincarnated, and they never do anything with like the main character's backstory. It's just random Japanese guy that died number 3742. Here, they actually treat the setting as like an integral part of the story. So we'll put it C tier. I'm putting it C tier, and I binged the entire thing in one day because it was fun to watch. It was fun. Average. Better than most isekais, because most isekais like legit D, E, F tier. But overall, I would say it's did something more interesting, even though it does eventually kind of devolve into a generic fantasy setting. And Season 2, I don't want to say it was weak, but the animation in Season 2 was really not that good. It was legit PowerPoint at some point. Non Biori. This is peak comfort show. This is S tier. This is fantastic. This is what it means to watch. This is why we watch Japanese cartoons. We watch it for the pure calming spirit of a bunch of random people in the countryside doing countryside things. When you watch this show, Non Biori, you cannot feel bad. It is peak comfort. It is legit. You turn it on, you feel the warm feeling spread inside of you. Fantastic. Also, it's funny. Like, Renge is unironically like a funny character. He's just like a little kid and like a gremlin distilled into its purest form. But there was also some emotional parts to it as well. Like, Renge makes a friend for the summer and the friend leaves, and it's like actually heartbreaking. Only because you're so invested in like what she wants to do. So I would for sure rate this S tier. What is this? This looks like a visual novel. This looks like a visual novel adaptation. Is it Grisaya? Which one is it? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up because this one is Golden Hour, which is like, if you go to the Mal page, it's the recommendation. Oh, Bisai no Kaijutsu. Yeah, this is like generic harem adaptation number 477. Didn't watch it though. Golden Hour was the show that was recommended on the Mal page if you really like Toradora. So I really like Toradora, but I didn't watch it. Why? Who knows? Didn't watch. Wait, what is this one? This one looks familiar. This is Kyokai no Kanata. Didn't watch. Wow, I said I feel like I had an opinion on a lot of these things in the beginning. It's like, wow, I didn't watch a lot of the stuff. But wait, I watched a lot of the stuff that's further down. What the hell? Yeah, so a lot of this other stuff I've watched. Like, this, that's My Hero Academia. This, I didn't, that's a ReZero I watched. Tanaka-kun is always listless I watched. Mob Psycho 100 is S tier, for sure. Real Life, I read the entire manga. It was A tier, I would say. It was fun. Ping Pong is S tier. This is Strike the Blood. So Free, I did watch. Why did I watch Free? I watched it for the swimming, alright? I'm a sportsman, first and foremost, and I watched it for the swimming and not the half-naked men. If I wanted to watch half-naked men, I would just watch real swimming. Also, the Olympics start soon, so I'm going to watch them swimming. Hey, kidding, jokes. Free? It was meh. It was alright. It was better than Sword Art Online. I didn't enjoy as much as these stuff. I unironically watched it to like see how anime would handle swimming, to see if they can make swimming an interesting like spectator sport. They couldn't. It wasn't about the swimming. It wasn't that good. It was meh. Like, the main character is super boring and bland. These are all just like different shoujo tropes just put into a guy's body. Here's the playful one, the friendly one, the nerdy one, the rival. The characters are pretty one note. There's nothing much about it. It was just kind of just fan service for people who wanted to see anime boys being wet. I don't have anything against it, but it's also like not my cup of tea. Yaoi doujins back in the day, bro. These yaoi doujins weren't gonna be hitting good. Cause like I watched it unironically for the swimming, and all these characters are just so one note. Like, how can you make a compelling yaoi doujin if all of these characters don't have any personality? There's the blank slate protagonist, the fiery rival, the nerdy one, the playful small one, and there's the friendly tall best friend. I don't know. I mean, sure, if you need random filler for your yaoi doujin, you can use them and they're kind of recognized. But just make your own OCs and put them in there. Just make your own yaoi doujins. The character designs aren't particularly interesting either. Just random ass Ikemen number 1, random ass Ikemen number 2, random ass Ikemen number 2, 3, and random ass Ikemen number 4, and just small one. Like, what are they gonna? The only interesting thing I could see them doing in terms of yaoi doujin is make him the top and with a massive penis, and make one of these guys the bottoms, which is probably something that has been done because again, it's the only interesting thing you can do with it. Yeah, but I did watch it. The funnier part was the 50% off, which is the parody of that, which is like were abridged series ever really big? Because the really big abridged series, they're like the ones that put abridged series on the map, the Yu-Gi-Oh! The abridged series and the Dragon Ball abridged series, those were really funny. At least back in like 2008 when they came out. And I guess they still come out with episodes every now and then now. But the 50% off, which is the name of the free abridged series, wasn't bad. It had its share of funny moments. It was actually decent. I guess the Sword Art Online abridged series is also really big now. It's kind of like the inheritor to the title of the abridged series from the Yu-Gi-Oh! The abridged series. But now, I think that also spawned like entire YouTube communities of people who want to do anime abridged series or even like the most obscure random shit. Let's see. But yeah, it's like yaoi bait, but it's like, it's not even interesting yaoi bait. It's just generically handsome characters, and the swimming was just an excuse to draw them. They don't understand the pain you have to go through to be a swimmer. They don't understand the thousands of yards every day, the early mornings. Kill la Kill, Studio Trigger, S tier. Sure, you can argue that I did just say Free was yaoi bait, therefore Kill la Kill would just be Yuri bait, but the thing with Kill la Kill is, one, it has an interesting story about like fighting your way up through the academy that then transitions into a wacky and zany story about fighting against this woman's mom, who's also this woman's mom, and alien clothing. And it's like weird and out there. And yes, there is a lot of fan service. Yes, there is a lot of titties. And yes, maybe the scissors are a metaphor. Also, yes, I am straight. But besides the sexuality aspects, the story is far more interesting, just purely from a plot standpoint. Because the whole thing here... Yes, but I'm saying disregarding even the sexuality connotations, I can recognize that the characters in Kill la Kill, or at the very least the plot of Kill la Kill, is far superior to the plot of Free. You can't sit here and tell me watching guys compete for a swim meet is more interesting than watching the fate of the world being fought for with scissor blades and alien life fibers, alright? I know that rating these two back to back makes you look like a giant hypocrite and also kind of make it look like I objectify women. But I'm saying, purely from a plot standpoint, regardless of everything else, this is a better show. God, I'm just digging my own grave. Alright, maybe if you've never been to a swim meet before, like the road to a high-level swim meet's interesting, but as someone who's lived that shit, it's not. It's hurt. It hurts. You practice day in and day out, and it sucks, and it's not interesting at all, and they didn't even portray swimming right, alright? I'm angry. I don't like Free because they didn't portray the sport that I've spent 4 decades of my life into properly. It is just yaoi bait. It's not even good yaoi bait. If you want to make good yaoi bait, make like a Bara character as well. They could have given them like a Bara swim coach. They could have put more different body types in here. Like, I don't care about the Yuri aspect and the fan service aspect of Kill la Kill. What I care about is the plot and the craziness of Studio Trigger. You want any yaoi? Yeah, give me interesting yaoi and I'll read it. Give me compelling characters and a good plot and I'll read it. I don't care. Would I get off to it? Probably not. I didn't get off of this. I didn't care. Like I said, I don't care for the fan service in here. I'm not going to deny its existence, but I didn't care for the fan service. Is the only interesting part about erotica the erotic part? Can't you have, like, erotica that's interesting? Can't we have interesting, well-written stories for porn? Huh? Hypocrites, everyone's a hypocrite now. Everyone's a critic. Don't talk to me. Alright, what is this? Alright. Nisekoi, terrible. I hated Nisekoi. D tier. The worst. I actually read the entire manga from Nisekoi. I don't know why. Free was okay. It was my other problem with Free is, like, I like sports anime also, and it didn't do the things that I like about sports anime. It didn't, like, set up an intense rivalry. It didn't do the whole, like, striving to become better thing. It just kind of existed. And, like, I don't care that, I don't know. Maybe, again, because it's also, swimming is something close to my heart. I'm a water person. I like water. I didn't portray water correctly. This one, I do know this one. This is the one where it's like, you choose, or the whole premise is like, this is another harem rom-com. This is another kind of generic harem rom-com, but the shtick of this one is that the main character occasionally has to make a choice where he does one ridiculous thing or an even more ridiculous thing, or else something bad happens to him. And that's the entire plot. It's just a harem rom-com like that. Because at some point, a lot of these, like, shonen harem rom-coms are just like, harem rom-com, gimmick. Harem rom-com, but there's a gimmick. Harem rom-com, gimmick. And this one's gimmick, there's, like, some supernatural force that compels the main character to make a choice. Look, I'm not going to say Free was a bad show. It was fine. I just wanted more from it. I just wanted a little more sportsy action. A little more interesting characters, a little more interesting plot. I don't have to justify myself here on my channel. What is this? Oh. I need to drink my water. Or my protein shake, I suppose. Look, I might not be gay, but I've done the second gayest thing, which is go to a straight locker room. There's like a critical mass of straight people in a locker room that makes it pretty homosexual in like a strange way. I'm not boring. If you want to recommend to me some yaoi with good story and interesting characters, I'm more than down to read it. I'm always looking for something new and exciting. But there's nothing struck in my fancy. What is this one? This looks like Mecha. Straight locker rooms, there's a lot of very homoerotic behavior in straight locker rooms. I think this is a well-observed phenomenon. At some point, there is a critical mass of straight dudes you can put in a locker room where it becomes vaguely homoerotic. It doesn't. I'm just making a joke. It's not that good of a joke. It's something that's been noted before. It's kind of whatever. What is this one? Is this Alno Zero? Oh, yay. Let's see. Is this Alno Zero? Why does he have a sword? This is a Gundam show. Never watched it. No Game, No Life? Do people still pine for a No Game, No Life Season 2? Because I remember that was a really big thing, where like this was a hit show. It took the world by storm when it came out in 2015. And then nobody ever heard anything about it. Now it's been like 10 years, and they made like a prequel movie, and nothing ever happened ever again. It was a fun show. I'd say it's solid B tier. Never watched Season 2. There was a Season 2? Wait, there was a Season 2? No Game. There's a Season 2? No, there was no Season 2. There can't have been. Yeah, there's no Season 2. This is the one. This was the show. No, there was a movie. There was a movie where there's a side story. There was like a PV and there was a movie. And the movie was about like a prequel because it follows the light novels, but there's never a direct sequel, even though the light novels continue. And this is the one that where people like, good shows never get sequels. Because there was a lot of complaints about that as well. It was a good show. Solid B tier. It was fun to watch. I think the mind games were interesting between like it had the same appeal to like Code Geass and Death Note, where it's like a pseudo intellectual show where it makes you feel smart for watching it, for seeing the main character outsmart everyone, when really it's just a bunch of ass pulls. So it's like, when you think about it, a lot of these things, like these plans the main characters make, they only work because the author writes such bullshit shit to make them work. But it makes you feel smart. What's this one? Is this the lesbian one? Which lesbian one is this? Is it... which one is this? Which one is this? I can't remember for the life of me. Citrus? Is this Citrus? Is that Citrus? The characters look similar, but I'm terrible at like telling characters apart. Either way, I didn't watch it. There was another lesbian one in the 2010s as well. Space Standy. I think this is another Watanabe Shinichiro one. I did watch it. The main character is just an American. I don't think that was Citrus. I think it was like Sakura Trigger? Sakura something? Hey. Sakura... Sakura Trick. That's what it was. I remember. It was the other lesbian show from the 2010s. Citrus is the one with the lesbian incest. This is the one with just regular lesbians. Or regular Japanese lesbians. I didn't watch it, but I know about it. And then Space Dandy. Space Dandy is... Space Dandy? It was C tier. It was a fun watch. Better than other stuff. Not as good as... Didn't enjoy it as much as the other stuff in SA or B, but it was a solid, fun watch where you just watch an American going around having adventures. Because, like, this guy is literally just an American. Just like a Japanese person's view on what an American is. I think it was also directed by Shinichiro Watanabe. I think, like, the whole musical theme for this one was, like, funk, I think. Or, like, Elvis stuff. I don't quite remember. Such a song of lesbian incest. I mean, yeah. Oh, now we're getting to the stuff that I do remember more. Haikyuu? Goated. If Free was half as good as Haikyuu as a sports show, it would be A tier. But it doesn't do any of the things that I like about sports shows, which is kind of, I don't want to say there's power systems, but the whole striving to be better, the training, the bonds between teammates that displays really well, and the whole like training to overcome things. Haikyuu is an S tier sports show. I still have to, well, I'm probably never gonna finish it, let's be real, because I like don't have enough time to watch shows anymore, unfortunately. This way. My bad. I'm sorry for liking women. I'm disgusting, I know. If only I could have been born liking dicks. Fuck. Look, honestly, I would even argue that Haikyuu is a better yaoi show than Free, because the characters are more interesting and you can write more interesting scenarios with them. We have the main protagonist. I'm exaggerating for the purposes of comedy. Is this your first day in comedy class? Anyways, back to my point. Haikyuu is a better yaoi anime than Free. Or at least it sets up for a better yaoi doujin simply because the characters are better. Right? We have... What? I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. The fuck's wrong with you? Haikyuu is better. Haikyuu is more interesting. What is this? Is this Pokemon? Is that Hilda? Oh no, my eyes are playing tricks on me. Noragami. I think I saw a video essay recently about how Noragami is like secretly a hidden masterpiece. And it seemed interesting when it was coming out, and it was one of the things that I added to my to-watch list like over 10 years ago that I never got around to watching. But I did watch the Bagebu, which is about a club. It's called the Survival Club, and the club is basically an airsoft club. And this is similar in terms of comedy to like Nichijou, where it's like kind of absurd. There's like a crab with a gun. For some reason, I think there's a platypus in there. But all the characters kind of have their bits. It was a fun watch. I don't think it does like the whole absurd comedy thing as well as Nichijou, but it does have its own charm to it. And for that, I'm putting it in B tier. Somewhere around here. Because it's like high school girls that shoot each other with airsoft guns. And for some reason, they're able to craft funny scenarios with it. There's not really a plot. It's one of those episodic shows where it's just like funny thing happens, bit. But it is what it is. Let's see, what else is there? There's the Onisama anime. I cannot rightfully put this in E tier or D tier. Realistically, it's like an E F tier show because it's so bad. It's legitimately just the most generic power fantasy with a very complicated power system in a magic world. But it's the memes and how like dead serious it takes itself so seriously. It takes itself so seriously with the main character is like, according to the school's ranking systems, one of the weaker students, but he is also like a secret agent government worker who's capable of making like the most powerful magic ever. You like it because of comedy? Sabagebu? Sabagebu is good. Sabagebu is fantastic. You have good taste. That's the first good thing you said today. I'm kidding. I'm actually surprised someone else has watched Sabagebu, if that's what you're talking about. Sabagebu is for sure a standout. Oh, the Onisama? This one? The comedy is never intentional comedy, though. The comedy is always based off like how seriously it takes itself, while the little sister character like worships her older brother, and he's just like the most self-insert power fantasy. Everybody loves him. Everybody wants to be him. He effortlessly like takes care of everything. Like from a writing perspective, this is a terrible show. Like from every aspect, the show is like terrible, except for maybe like the animation, because the animation again. I don't remember if it's good for the time, but it's probably decent or above average. The magic system is confusing. They use like magic guns, and the light novel goes into really complicated details about like magic circuits and shit. Like everything is super expository. Why does it have 3 seasons then? The ultimate way to win a debate, an appeal to capitalism, and like two. You've got me. I don't have a rebuttal for the appeal to capitalism. By I guess I gotta put an S tier then, right? I mean, Ichijo only has 1 season. Kill la Kill only has 1 season. F tier. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm putting it in F tier. It's kind of a meme F tier because the comedy is never the point of this thing though. The thing is funny because it takes itself seriously. And the whole why does it have 3 seasons and 2 movies? I don't know. Is it 3 or 4? Oh no, the irregular at Magic High School. Mahoka. Let me see. How does it have anything above a 7? Like, this is unironically a terrible show with terrible exposition, terrible one-note characters. There's no interesting drama in any of the plot because everyone knows only someone's gonna come in and save the day. I think at some point there was an entire subreddit where it's this guy was like Tatsuya's Jesus Christ reincarnate. He's the second coming of the Lord. Like, for all intents and purposes, this is a bad show. You study this show if you like want to be a writer, and you study it so you know what not to do in order to be a writer. But I guess it is what to do, because if you do what this guy did, you'll get 3 seasons and 4 movies or whatever. Let's see. So there's only 3 seasons. Yeah, so apparently this is what you should do in writing, because 3 seasons? Wait, the 3rd season debuted recently. This is like the show originally released legitimately 10 years ago. What the heck? Did the people demand that this come back for a 3rd season? Is this what the people want? This is how I know democracy is never... Yeah, this is why democracy could never work, because people want 3 seasons of this and like 10 movies as well. It's like Plato said, that great dead Greek guy. Democracy will never work because the people are stupid and have bad taste in cartoons. SMH my head. What is this? I think this is Black Bullet. Is this Kaguya-sama's author's other work? Black Bullet? Is it Black Bullet? I think it is. Didn't watch it. I just know there's like guns and there's kids. I don't need to watch all of this stuff. I'd have no interest in watching a lot of these. I mean, I want to watch Hyoka. Space Kyodai I would honestly probably just read. I would watch Sakamichi no Apollon. Everything else is probably stuff that like I don't really care for. This just seems like generic whatever. Again, I don't care for. 1 Week Friends, the whole plot of this show is the girl loses her memory every week and this guy just keeps trying to make friends with her, and I think there's like some romantic undertones that never go anywhere. Boring ass show. It's like it's kind of cute, I guess, but it's like E tier, forgettable, not very funny. Nothing really interesting happens. The hell is this? We'll do this one. Brynhilde in the Darkness, F tier show. This is also a terrible television show. Coffin Princess plot was good, but couldn't get into it. Which one was Coffin Princess? Is that this one? Oh yeah. Oh wait, yes. Now that you say Coffin Princess, that name does ring a bell. Let me see if I can remember the plot of it. Yeah, so that's Coffin Princess. Okay. And it's like, I was talking about 4.5. The Crunchyroll ratings are deceiving because the worst shows will have like a 4.8. 5 years ago, the 300-year-long war between the Alliance of 6 Nations and the Gas. You gotta love when a show starts off with the 300-year war between Alliance 1 and the Blank Federation. I feel like that's how a lot of shows start. Let's see. Came to an end when Emperor Arthur Gaz was killed by the 8 heroes. The Empire's lands were then divided by the Alliance, who later formed the Council of 6 Nations to bring peace and order to the land. In addition, Gaz's remains, which possessed incredible magical energy, were divided up and granted to each of the 8 heroes, who used their shares for various reasons. In the present, Toru Akira is an unemployed saboteur who is unable to settle in this peaceful era, then there's no demand for his saboteur skills, and thus he sees no meaning in his life. While out foraging in the forest, Toru encounters Chaika Trabant. I don't know. This seems like super I don't know. I feel like a lot of shows start off, or a lot of anime light novel synopsis. As much of it be the same person trying to achieve the same goal or killing each other to achieve it. What the heck? That seems interesting. That actually does seem like an interesting thing. That just seems like identity theft, the plot line. But that does seem like an interesting plot line at the very least. Because what I've read on the Wikipedia so far, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds really generic. I feel like a lot of shows start off in this fantasy world. 300 years ago, there was a war between this kingdom and this federation, and then it's one side won or one side didn't win, and then things got split up. Right? That's kind of the background setting. Some war happens between a bunch of sides, and then fast forward to the present day, something's gonna happen, war's gonna break out again. I feel like that's a very common narrative device plot point. Why? Because it was the first link. Look, I'm old. We've established this. I only have so much time left. I don't want to spend my remaining one of these next few seconds, they might be my last. I don't want to spend my last remaining seconds scrolling through the Google search page looking for an accurate summary of a 2010 anime. You know? You never know. This is the Behemoth one I didn't watch. This is I don't know. This is I don't know. This is I don't know. This is Ping Pong the Animation. S tier. It gets bonus points for being different. It gets bonus points for going against the grain with their wacky, out there style, and it really explores like why people do sports, right? And they have perhaps one of my favorite sequences in all of television, the karaoke scene in like episode 5, I believe it is, where it goes through all of these different characters who all play the sport of ping pong for a different reason. And I don't like school life anime. This is... Wait a minute. I like sports. I don't like school life anime. I like good shows. It just so happens that like every single Japanese cartoon takes place in a high school. I don't like school life. This doesn't take... Wait, this does take place in a school. Wait, all these shows take place in a school. What do you mean? There's no... You can't say that that's a kink. You can't say that. Not when all these shows legitimately take place in high schools. But Ping Pong is a good show. It explores the reasons why people do sport. The characters are well motivated, and they have different reasons for wanting to do stuff, you know? And it gets bonus points for being different and having my favorite sequence. Look, this doesn't take place in the school. Amagi Brilliant Park. What is this? This is... I'll put this C tier. C tier. It was a fun show to watch. It was enjoyable. Honestly, the most notable part about it was... Really? This takes place in the school. This probably takes place in the school. This probably takes place in the school. This takes place in the school. This takes place in the school. This takes place in the school. They all take place in schools. I've also watched stuff that doesn't take place in schools. Base Standard doesn't take place in the school. This doesn't take place in the school. I think you're trying to construct a false narrative here. Amagi Brilliant Park, good show. Well, not good, but it was enjoyable. About managing a park. I don't remember the major conflict here though. I feel like the major... The major conflict was like they were going to close the park down, and they needed to save the princess because she had some disease, and these are all like fantasy. No, it didn't. It wasn't a school. It wasn't a school. If you want to start broadening the definition to like high school students, like everyone, like these, literally everyone here is a high school student. Like for fuck's sake, King Arthur's a high school student. Like, yeah, like they're all high school students. Let's be real. Technically. Yeah, Amagi Brilliant Park was fun. The main character's name was Kanye, and I found that funny when I was like 10 years ago. All right. Wait. Oh. I don't think technically. I watched Shirobako. That didn't take place at a school. Shirobako was also really good. Now, I'm not going to rate it yet because we're not there yet. We'll get to it eventually. Akame ga Kill. This didn't take place in the school. This took place in the fantasy world. But it's not sus. It's not my fault that 90% of Japanese cartoons take place in schools. Akame ga Kill F tier. I hate this show. People are starting to like praise it now. They're like, oh, it's so good. It's so edgy. It's so unpredictable. They just kill every main character. Like that's the gimmick. It's just fantasy world where they kill every main character. And the anime original ending has the bad guys use a giant mecha. Like, this show became a meme to me and my friend who were watching it as it was airing, because the entire final boss is just a giant like government mecha. It was not. I guess maybe it was okay, but the whole point for me is I didn't like it. I thought it was just like stupid. It's like, oh, we're just gonna kill off main characters for shock value. Oh, nobody's safe. Ooh, spooky. And then they just kill off all the main characters, and you're like, why? Okay, if we're gonna kill off every main character, I don't even like. Sure, I don't even remember the part where the king goes berserk. I just remember the giant mech called Shiko Taser that like the main character has to fight, and I think he like, does he kill Esdeath too? And people are like horny for Esdeath now or whatever. I don't know. People are trying to say this is like a good show 10 years ago. I watched this show as it was airing. The general consensus was it was mediocre, and I'm gonna say it with 10 years retrospective. The show is just straight up bad. I don't care. You can't kill off every main character and have that be your gimmick. Otherwise, like, the reason that killing off characters has emotional weight is because you're invested in them, because you don't think they're going to die. The king was probably, oh, so he's, yeah, like, the king was just a side character for the real main character of the show, Shiko Taser, the giant mecha in my medieval fantasy anime. Yeah, but I don't like it when a show's gimmick is killing off every main character for no reason. It just feels like they want to mimic the emotional punch of Gurren Lagann killing off Kamina in episode 8, but they just never could, because that was like the one main character that Gurren Lagann killed off, and has a lot of weight, and you still see how his death affects the rest of the crew of Dai Gurren 20 episodes down the line. Even towards the end, they all are still carrying his spirit. What to do by his greedy retainer. How do you remember all these plot points? Did you watch this recently? I watched this when it was airing 10 plus years ago. Didn't think about it once. I've never thought about like anything about this show once besides, oh yeah, that was a show that was stupid because it killed off all their main characters and there was no reason to get emotionally invested in it. And I only watched it until the end because it seemed like a meme. And you still remember the plot points? Honestly, I'm impressed. Your memory is better than mine. Oh yeah, I also remember like Tatsumi was into Mine, and I know in the manga like this guy becomes a dragon, but his wife Mine gets like pregnant, and people are like, did she fuck the dragon? You remember random things? I have a memory from when I was like 3 years old, and it's just like me playing with the flashlight with my grandparents, and it was the most bizarre memory ever because I don't know why I remembered it. It's just like some random moment, so. I don't have a random memory. It just sometimes just happens. Just like flashes. Anyways, rant over. Akame ga Kill, bad show. Don't watch. It's overly edgy, kind of gory for no reason. Oh yeah, I do remember one thing. There was that soldier girl who's like really likes justice, and they're making. Oh yeah, the government made like a counter assassin league who they put the soldier who was really into justice into it, but in the soldier who was really into justice like was guiding Tatsumi back to where he belonged. Wow. Hey, that's notable though. And the soldier who really likes justice is like pretending, or not, she like thinks he's a good person, then she like kills criminals and is just like a psychopath. That's another thing I remember about Akame ga Kill. But again, this is also, it's just like shock factor, the anime. It didn't feel authentic to me. I value authenticity. Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works. I actually watched more recently. I think I watched it in like 2020, as opposed to when it was airing. I would say A tier. It was fun. I liked it. Maybe not as much as Fate Zero, but it was still a good show. Like the main character, Emiya, is still not as good as cool as this one's Emiya, but Unlimited Budget works. Fate Stay Night is, so I've only watched Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. I know there's the 3 Heaven's Feel route and the original because they're collabing with HSR. I mean, yeah, it's also just like, so I tried getting into Fate lore after I watched Fate Unlimited Blade Works. I played a bit of Fate Grand Order, the gacha game. Couldn't really get into it because like I keep hearing it's a good story, but getting to the good parts of the story is kind of a grind. There wasn't any interesting characters that I could have pulled for, and also the gacha is like super outdated. The gameplay is just like super outdated. It shows. There's not a ton of quality of life either. So, what you need to know about Fate: King Arthur's a woman, and yeah, that's it. That's like it's fun. It's a good show. They're cool. They have like their ideologies that they battle with, and the fight scenes are really nice. And this is animated really highly. And they have Aimer sing one of the openings, and that's really it.
Also, this guy's an archer despite not having a bow and arrow. Actually, no, he does have a bow and arrow, but he fights with swords. This guy in the red, his class is archer, but he fights with swords. How does that make sense? King Arthur, her name is Saber. I mean, yeah, but Saber is the class. She's Artoria. She's Artoria. I think she's cool. I like King Arthur in a dress. He uses a bow. He does. But he fights primarily with swords. Tokyo Ghoul didn't watch. This is the Ghibli anime, didn't watch. Parasite didn't watch. All No Zero didn't watch. Barakamon, A tier. This show doesn't take place in high school. This show takes place on a random Japanese island. And it's similar to Non Byori, where it's just straight up comfy. A little more comedy, I feel. And it's just about a calligrapher who's trained using daggers. Yeah, it is, but like his class is archer. If you're playing an MMO and you're playing the archer class, you plan on ever using your dagger? Didn't think so, right? I'm just saying. This was advertised as an archer, and yet he uses daggers. Make it make sense. He uses a bow and arrow like once in the opening scene of Unlimited Blade Works, and then like never again. I'm not sure if you know his identity as which historical figure he is, but he's like the reason he's an archer is kind of dumb too. But Barakamon, back to an actual show that makes sense. Barakamon, the kids act like kids. They're like chaotic kind of gremlins, and it's just heartwarming seeing this stoic calligrapher open up to the community and the village around him. Good show, funny too. Highly recommend. Should read. Didn't read it. What is this? I don't know, but I didn't watch it. This one. Not only did I watch the anime when it aired, I read the manga. I read the manga while the manga was still being written. Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, Your Lie in April. I have to say the anime was better because it's an anime about music. And so when you actually hear the classical pieces being played, it adds to the experience because you can't really do that with the manga. Yeah, I didn't watch High School DxD. Or is it? I think I put it somewhere here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I didn't watch. I didn't care for it. Are you I am literature sexual. I like good stories. I like compelling narratives. I don't care about your tits and your ass and your feet and your thighs and your armpits and knee pits and toes and fingies. I like good stories, all right? I didn't watch High School DxD because I wanted a good story. It's not like a rite of passage or anything to have to watch High School DxD. It's just, I don't care for it. I don't care to watch a fan service show. It's like, it's all fan service. The reason I watch shows is to be told a story. I think that's a perfectly valid reason. Let's see. Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso. We can put this. It was a decent show. We can put it in B tier. It's kind of like tearjerker bait, where like it sets up the death early and you kind of know it's coming, but it still tries to make you cry. And I feel like it's the first or the one that kind of pushed the tearjerker bait into prominence. Because before this, there's like, yeah, we're not gonna kill off the main love interest. Now I feel I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, that movie also kind of does the same thing, where it sets up the death early and it still tries to make you cry. I think it works. I think it can be effective sometimes. But people were rating this like 10 out of 10 when it first came out, and I think that's just an overreaction. It's a solid show. It's fun to watch, and I think the classical music component is also really nice, because I like classical music as well. Same as I like jazz. But again, it's fine. Is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? It's just one of the shows. The death is set up decently. The music is the most interesting part. It is for sure super melodramatic. This is the show was super over dramatic about like every little thing. But I think that's one of its strengths, right? If everything is like a life or death situation and treated with a lot of weight, then it makes the show seem more interesting, I suppose. Wait, is this the heroin one? Wait, that sounds bad. I don't mean like the drug heroin. I mean like Boku no sporing heroin, something like that. Saikano? Hanai heroin no sodate kano? Yes, this one I remember, where they're making a doujin, or they're making like a something. I can't remember what they're making. Is it like a light novel? Generic harem. Generic harem number 37. We'll put it in C tier with all the rest of the generic harems. Boku no Pico? Boy, you've been... I was old when that joke was new. And now that that joke has been used against me... Not Boku no Pico. Don't cite the... Let me find the clip so I can get Aslan to say it for me. Here. Boku no Pico, you really think I would fall for a classic Boku no Pico? You really think...
Do not cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
There. I even took out the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the oldest meme there is, in order for you to know that you can't use that against me. I was there. I know every single... I've been terminally online longer than you've been alive. Longer than the internet's been a thing. Let's see. You're just showing your wrinkles? I show them proudly. My wrinkles are a sign of my victory over time. Every second longer I'm alive is another victory in my favor. I have not lost yet a single time versus the ravages of Kronos yet. Zankyo no Terror. I think I talked a little bit about this already. It was an interesting show from Shinichiro Watanabe and Yuki Kajiro, I think, who was the music director, where the focus was Scandinavian music, but eventually just kind of turned into two dudes just trying to fight the government and like the evil organization that tried to do their science experiment shit. But it's still all right. I think the visuals and music make it worth watching just for that alone, because it's a short show. It's like 11 episodes. Main girl is super boring though. There's playful one, there's stoic one, and they do terrorism together. How cute. Gekkan Shoujo no Zaki-kun. S tier. Comedy is the best genre. And this does comedy well because it subverts shoujo tropes, where we have like a lot of shoujo tropes that are traditionally present in female leads in some of the main male characters, and a lot of the tropes that are traditionally found in the main shoujo male leads and the female characters. And it creates comedy through kind of this dissonance and putting a lot of these characters in traditional shoujo settings. Also, I just think it's funny. The characters are funny, their interactions are funny, and the opening is also a banger. Actually, I want to put this S tier. I reserve S tier for the elite few. I'll drop it down. I'd say it's similar to Barakawan. Different styles of comedy, where this is a little bit comfier, this leans more towards comedy. Kind of close to Danshi Kokosu no Nichijo, though. I would say these are about the same. What is this? What the hell? Is that a samurai with a golden sword? Golden mask, too? Fuck. What the hell is this? Oh, hold on. I gotta do something really quickly. So I'm gonna mute for a second. I'm back. Oh my god, I just realized I had my mic muted while I was talking. But Seven Deadly Sins, I watched like an episode or two, and like I did not care for it. It just seemed super boring for all intents and purposes. I didn't really see the appeal of it. I heard the animation only got worse, so I was like, why even bother to watch it? Oh wait, that should be there. This, I don't know what this is. Assassination Classroom, didn't watch it. Akatsuki no Yona, I watched. It was a good show. It's a shoujo, so kind of a reverse harem type of thing. I would put it B tier. Only simply because I don't remember much about it, but I remember liking it more than the stuff that's below it. So B tier, solid show. About like a princess that's trying to escape her homeland being invaded. And generally just, what's it called? What's she doing there? I don't know. I think it's based off some Korean mythology though, because I think the names are Korean as opposed to not being, or as opposed to Japanese. Because I think the main character name is like Yona or Yena or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's a Korean name. What's this one? This thumbnail looks very familiar, but I can't for the life of me figure it out. So, if this is the thumbnail, I don't remember, but I know I didn't watch it. I think this was like the Mafia one. Didn't watch this. Shirobako, Trinity. Oh, yes, Trinity 7. How do you know the names of all these, like... Did you watch Trinity 7? How do you know the names of these random light novel adaptations? You did? Was it good? I didn't seem interesting to me. It seemed kind of like random light novel adaptation number 37. Or number 38, I suppose. I already used number 37 here. Oh, there's actually a lot of stuff here. I don't think it didn't seem particularly interesting. Again, like I said, it seems pretty generic to me, so didn't watch it. Shirobako was good. Shirobako was the one about making an anime. I would put this solidly in B tier. When it came out, it was all the rage. There was like the meme with the girl's shoulder dance thing where she does the cute little like 1, 2, and then she does like a little thing to like lighten the shoulders or stretch her shoulders. But it's a cute, was this like, it's a slice of life. Let's get together for, yes, yes, I remember. So I did watch Akatsuki no Yona. I don't remember much about it, but I remember it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was slightly dramatic, and was there a romance in it, or was the romance mainly just undertones between like her and the 4 dragons? Shirobako was good though. Shirobako, I would put in A tier actually. Now I think about it. It was I would put Shirobako in A tier simply because it's different and it kind of displays an aspect that's not really displayed in anime, or a storyline that's not displayed, just like actually making an anime. Like, yeah, there's a lot of movies about making movies in Hollywood because Hollywood loves doing that, but that's not really too prevalent in Japanese cartoons. She's her the guard who she is. Oh, really? Wait, really? Yeah. So again, I remember liking it. I don't remember exactly the exact plot happenings. I think, did the manga end or not? I don't know. But Shirobako I liked. Akatsuki no Yona also liked. I don't think it was as good as the stuff in S tier. Better than the stuff in B tier. I like Shirobako more than Attack on Titan. I'll say it. I don't care. This one I don't know. This one I don't know. This is the disappearance of Nagato Yuki-chan, which I didn't really care for. Not as good as the movie or as the mainline series. This is just a spin-off of a popular show. This I didn't know. This I don't know. Hibiki no Phonium I heard was really good. Don't know. Shokugeki no Soma. This is just the food makes you come anime. It was alright. It was fun to watch for a bit. I think they had a really good tournament arc. And then after the tournament arc, it fell off. And then I read the manga, and the manga just got stupid. Like, literally stupid. Like, they build up Soma's dad to be like the unbeatable guy, and then he gets beaten by like his hidden bastard child who's apparently Soma's half brother. And then there's some other big tournament, and it's just like a stupid mess of an ending. I heard it's because of the editor. I'm not quite sure. But the first season was fun. The first season was good and has a really nice tournament arc, and it's basically like a battle anime about cooking, realistically. And then in the later seasons, or in the later parts of the manga, at least, it has like the Prince of Tennis Kuroke no Basket problem, where it just dissolves into like superpowers with cooking that don't make sense, because it starts off pretty realistically grounded, where it's like you have a cooking guy, he's elite 10, and he wants to become part of like the elite 10, and he has skills from his dad, and his dad came with this goal also, blah 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 blah. And yeah, and then it then just evolves. It fell off, basically. That's basically, I used a lot of words to just say it fell off. Death Parade. Ooh, Death Parade was interesting. Death Parade, it's like when people die, they're sent to this bar to be judged, whether they go to heaven or hell, and they have to play a game to see where they go. So I'll put it high B tier. It was good. I think they kind of handled the mystery of the main character, the mysterious woman who ends up in limbo, I suppose. They handled it not that well. But regardless, the vignettes, the stories it told from the perspective of the people who were sent to be judged were still very interesting. And the games they played as well, they're generally related to, I think they generally did relate to like the lives of the person that lived. Decent show. Even if the ending is a little rushed, because that seems to be like a common occurrence where you can have an interesting show but the ending is rushed or bad, or they just don't know how to end it. Because they have to set up an interesting promise and still end it well. Let's see what else is there. Ooh, some good stuff's coming up. I'll skip to the stuff that I actually wanted to rate. So this I don't know. Ore Monogatari. Generic shoujo. Well, I don't want to say generic because it makes it seem like there's nothing special about it. The special thing about it is that the guy is like a big old judo guy and the girl is a small one, and his best friend's an ikemen. It's a cute show. Again, nothing special. It's just cute, feel good, comfy romance vibes. What else is there? What's this one? Didn't watch. Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. It is kind of generic harem. Number 32, number 3010, number 487. But I feel like it had like an it factor that put it above the generic harem. I feel like it was a little more interesting than a generic harem. I'll put it, I guess in that regard, is, I don't know. There was something about it. That even though the plot, for all intents and purposes, the plot is just the standard harem rom-com. But I do think the other girls do get paired off. So, and the main love interest is the main focus after, I believe, like the first few chapters, or not first few, but first arc of the manga. I also did read the manga for this one as well. There is a supernatural element where they switch bodies when they kiss, so there's like that whole plot thing going on, and it gets really confusing when there's more different powers that the different witches have, and there's like a secret witch or something that like erases everyone's memory of who Yamada is, and this is like later in the manga, so slight spoilers, and the plot gets really confusing. But I just remember liking this a lot and thinking this was really interesting, just feeling it had an it factor. Maybe it was the animation, maybe it was the soundtrack, even though the soundtrack's not that memorable. The only thing I really remember from this show is the opening that I really liked, but it just felt different. I don't know why. It's all rated above the other random rom-com harems that I've watched. Let's see. Ooh. I didn't watch the second season. I really need to. If you know, you know. Rakugo. Very interesting character drama with that it incorporates the old Japanese art of Rakugo. Put it A tier. Let him cook. The character dynamics are interesting with like the tension between the two peoples of the master, the time, the storytelling of jumping between past, really just mainly set in the past, but with some flash forwards to the present of this guy and his new student. I didn't watch the second season. I think it's a little more focused on this guy who's recently released from prison. But it is an really good show with really great characters. Himoto Umaru-chan, I did watch. D tier. I hate her. She's a gremlin. She should, like, this is just like the worst person ever. I'm legitimately convinced that Himoto Umaru-chan is like literally the embodiment of everything wrong with humanity, distilled into a pure gremlin form. The absolute worst. Is this Gate? Yeah, this is Gate. The only thing I know about Gate is the guy who created Gate, like the author of this series is like a turbo nationalist. That's the only thing I know. Charlotte I watched. Charlotte was interesting, and then it gets really dramatic and really serious really quickly. In the last 2 episodes, so many things happens and it stops making any sense. It has that problem where they try to rush an ending and try to pull together so many different plot points that it just feels like it just feels very ass-pulled and not satisfying at all. And for that reason, I'll put it in D tier. It was a good show up until like the last 2 episodes where they're like, oh shit, we have to make an ending and we don't have a second season, and they try to pull everything together, save the sister, go around the world taking all the powers because the powers are like caused by disease or something. And then like he gets amnesia, she's still in love with him. It's just a mess all around. So confusing. Well, not confusing, it's like stupid. It's like needlessly stupid. Shimonetta, C tier. Turn your brain off. Watch the dirty sex joke anime about committing domestic terrorism with sex jokes, I suppose, and penis jokes. That's basically what the show is. Dumb show, C tier, just generic. Have it on in the background and watch it tier. Overlord. Overlord is the one isekai that I actually enjoyed, B tier. It's a power fantasy. It's an isekai where they're in the video game, and it plays it pretty straight, but I still enjoyed it more than the other ones, mainly because I don't know. Maybe it's because he's like a villain in that world, and he's kind of playing the villain side as opposed to just being a generic good guy number 37. Maybe it's because he takes the big form of like a bone daddy as opposed to just generic attractive human person number 83. Overlord was fun. He's smart, he understands the game mechanics, and it does play into like the video game setting a little bit, even though they weren't transferred into a video game. But like the video game systems are still transferred into the world where he is. So I would rate it more highly than the rest of the isekai trash, even above some of the stuff that I did enjoy and were just like meh about. Because that's kind of what C tier is. It's just kind of like the meh, I watched it tier. B is like meh, I watched it and liked it tier. A is like this is good, and then S is like the best. I guess that's how I'm gonna describe these. Real Life. So this I didn't watch. This I didn't watch. One Punch Man I watched. This I didn't watch. I did not watch Monster Musume. I don't get the hype behind the Monster Musume. Honestly, it doesn't seem interesting. It just seems like fan service number. It just seems like fan service bait with monster girls. Let's be real. What else did I not watch? This I didn't watch. This is Flying Witch. I didn't watch that. I watched a lot of these though. Violet Evergarden, when that came out, is like when I stopped watching anime though, because I remember watching the PV being really hyped for it because it looked beautiful, the preview, and then I just never watched it. Oh, this is Kakegurui. I started reading the manga for Kakegurui and never finished it. I didn't watch the anime either. The premise sounds interesting at first, and then in the execution, not my favorite. I'm not gonna say anything about it. So, Kaicho wa Meitama. This I watched. Working I watched. This I didn't know. Yeah, this I did not watch. Is that Hitman Reborn? Madoka Magica? Blue Exorcist? Anohana? Oreimo? Pantheon Stocking? Wow. Why are all these... Steins Gate S tier. I've already said this is legitimately one of my favorite shows ever. Emotionally poignant, the characters are interesting, the plot's amazing, the handling of the whole time travel shtick. It actually handles the time travel relatively well. And I find that like a lot of time travel stories or stories based around time travel, there's always like glaring plot holes. But I feel like Steins Gate manages to, I don't want to say have 0 plot holes, so there's probably 1 or 2. But it ties them all up very neatly in an emotionally satisfying conclusion. And now there's also like the side story or the epilogue OVA in the movie, which is also an epilogue, I suppose. But it's a good show. It's the best show, honestly. This is number 1, like all time to me. Highly recommend. Highly. Let's see. So, let's see if I can rate everything else here. Real Life. Real Life is A tier. Real Life, I actually read the entire manga. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, doesn't this take place in the school? Yes, it does, but it's him redoing his life where he feels like he fucked up as an adult, and it's also all these other people also, or at least a few of the others, also redoing their life because they're feeling that like they're fuck ups, and seeing them slowly start to build into humans again after feeling like miserable failures for like a bit. That's emotionally resonant, and it's just a good rom-com as well. I would recommend. It's a fun one. It's also funny. It has all the makings of something interesting. Oh, prison school. Prison school. Prison school. I read Prison School. I think I feel like Prison School is better in black and white than it is as a show with the color, simply because the black and white really adds to the dramatic effect of the reaction faces. Because the reaction faces is like a big reason that there's a lot of comedy. A lot of comedy is derived from like the over-the-top, eccentric action faces that with the super exaggerated facial features, and the black and white adds to the shock value. And again, this is like another ecchi show. So I liked the manga more than I liked the anime here, and the anime was meh. It's honestly not that good. After you get past like the first couple of arcs, there's like one arc, especially in the manga, that drags on forever, and the ending is absolutely dog shit. The ending is terrible. So D tier, dog tier. One Punch Man. One Punch Man I would put in B tier because it's better than everything in C tier. And it's fun, but it also doesn't have anything about it that makes it like stand out. It does a lot of like the shonen trope subversion well, while still maintaining some amount of tension, because the tension no longer is can he beat the guy, it's can Saitama get to the fight in time to beat the guy, and it does that well enough. And I don't remember where the first 2 seasons leave off. I think the second season, like the animation quality drops off, but the first season I enjoyed a lot, and I also read the manga as well. So there's also, I think, the Garo arc. I don't know. There's like an entire Garo arc where he's trying to become a monster, and this is going on for like years or something. It feels kind of slow, so I stopped keeping up. It was starting to get kind of tedious. But the first season of the anime is very good, very fun. I would say it's like turn your brain off and watch kind of thing. But yeah, generically good show. Konosuba, comedy is the best. This is A tier. Isekai, that's like I don't want to say a subversion of Isekai. I'm going to say it's like a humorous take on it. Maybe if I rewatch it, I wouldn't find it as funny anymore because my sense of humor has changed in the past 10 years or so. But when I did watch it when I was younger, like 10 years ago, it was fun and I enjoyed it. And so for that, it's an Isekai, so A tier. If you can make me like an isekai, that's pretty impressive. What is this? My Hero Academia, C tier. Generic battle shonen. The first season was really good. The first season was good, but with the hindsight I have. Asterisk Wars. Which one's Asterisk Wars? This one? Oh, that is Asterisk Wars. I remember back in the day, there was a very snobby, pretentious anime reviewer named Digibro, and he had an entire series. I think it was breaking down either Asterisk Wars or Chivalry of a Failed Knight and showing why they're bad. I have no idea what happened to him. Last I heard, he was like a brony and he was like in debt or whatever. But he had interesting commentary about a lot of different anime, especially in 2010s. And then he just like fell off the face of the earth. He was very pretentious though. But, you know, sometimes watching pretentious anime reviews makes you feel good about yourself. So it's kind of sad. The show, I didn't watch it. To me, again, it's like a problem I have with a lot of these shows that I didn't watch, that I read the synopsis and didn't watch it, is that they just all seem like rehashes of the same power fantasy, where you're just like either the weakest but actually the strongest, which is like an isekai thing now, or like generic magic thing where everyone likes you for no reason. They just all seem like rehashes, recombinations of the same stuff. So yeah, I have watched stuff that is generic harem anime number whatever, and yeah, I am willing to admit that I did enjoy it at the time. But I never go into these wanting to watch the power of fantasy stuff. I don't mind watching character interactions for comedy. That's a little different in my opinion. Even though the comedy is kind of same. Hold on a minute. Did I have shit taste 10 years ago? Maybe I did. Holy fuck. Erased. I know this one is sad. I know the opening for this was very good. I listened to the opening a lot. It's like Asian Kung Fu Generation, I believe. And it's another time travel anime. So similarities to Steins Gate, great opening time travel anime. But I think there was like something about this one where people were praising it and then like the ending hit and there was something about it. There was a plot hole or there was a point that was kind of weird that people didn't like. I don't remember. But again, sad anime where this guy tries to stop the murder of his like elementary school classmate. But he's also in the body of an elementary schooler because he was sent back in time. Otsumatsu-san didn't watch. ReZero I did watch. Isekai. This one was the actual subversion of Isekai. Whereas Konosuba was less like comedy Isekai. This one was the actual like deconstruction of the genre. I'll put it in B tier. It did lead a lot of people to actually like change their perspective on some isekais or give the genre another chance. Me, I liked it for what it was. I like things that are different because I need to be cool like that. But I also like the fact that it actually did something interesting with its setting and with the main character's power of like dying over and over again and learning from it and kind of breaking down his kind of savior complex in that sense. So B tier. It's good. This I did not watch. 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 This is March Comes In Like a Lion. This is the other one where they're in the fantasy world. Oh, there's so many fantasy ones. What is this? Is it Grim? I think it starts with a G, like Grimoire, I don't remember. What is this one? Tanaka-kun has always listed this. This is just slice of life. Pretty boring. It's just about some lazy dude. Put it in D tier. I finished watching it, but that was really like, when I say finished watching it, I mean like I had it on while I was doing other things. But this was also, it's like Ashes of something, or like Mob Psycho 100 is S tier. People love One Punch Man, but honestly, one's other work, Mob Psycho 100 is far superior. Emotionally, story-wise, it's much more resonant. Myriad Colors Phantom World, is that what one of those was called? Myriad Colors Phantom World, what a title. Phantom World. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, that's what this one is. What's it about? Where's the MAL? 6.8 out of 10. It's wholesome. Phantom, supernatural entities such as ghosts or yokai that until recently were thought to be superstition. However, when a virus that infects the brain spreads throughout society, people's perception of the world changes as the mystical beings are revealed to have been living alongside humanity the entire time. Oh, I think I've heard of this one. What was it, 2016? Maybe I didn't hear about it. I think the art style just looks familiar. Like, this girl looks familiar to me for some reason. I did not watch Bungo Stray Dogs. I know what it is. I've heard about it. But I never watched it. I really only watch things if I like... Oh no, 2016, yeah. So 2016 to 2017, 2018, I really didn't watch a ton of anime during this time. It's from like 2010 to like 2015 when I was watching a lot of stuff. But Bungo Stray Dogs, I know about. I know people really liked it. But it was also during the time when I stopped watching. Or I started transitioning more into just reading manga. But I think it'd be fun to just like, you know, take a trip down memory lane. This is Keijo. I didn't watch Keijo. This is... Mar whatever. Wait a minute. I know this one. Is this Kisnever? Oh, it is Kisnever. Yeah, so I watched Kisnever. And this aired in 2016. And the reason I watched Kisnaver is because it was by Studio Trigger, which used to be Studio Gainax, which did Evangelion, Gurren Lagann, and a bunch of other really good stuff. That's why I watched Kisnaver. Yes, Kisnaver was interesting for a bit. There is one scene that I remember very well where it's the main character like feels emotion for the first time in a while, because the whole plot of this is that like these people are connected through pain and agony, and like one of them just doesn't feel emotions, the main character. And so when he like starts to remember all the pain he's gone through and stuff, he just like has this haunting cry that just feels very guttural. That's the part I remember about it. The rest of it's pretty forgettable, but there's that one scene that I think it's like one of those moments where it's like a good scene in a mediocre show. Studio Trigger tries some ambitious stuff. Sometimes they succeed really well. Most of the time they fall flat. Here they kind of fell flat. It's like average C or D tiers probably. Because again, I didn't even recognize what this was until I like had this epiphany of what it was, Kisnaver. Because I forgot that I watched it. That this character I vaguely remember. I think this girl's in love with the main character. This guy doesn't have any emotions, and they're all connected through pain. It's like used to be like, oh, science experiment, and let's see, the visual must come to the lab rats with an inclusive design with world peace in mind. Yeah. So like the whole thing is like the whole reason they've been made to feel each other's pain is that they want this to be like something that'll bring about world peace. If you can feel another person's pain, you're less likely to hurt them, type of thing. I think the main character is like in love with Sonozaki Noriko, who is the person who's like the boss, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, there's like some weird plot reveal. Or not weird, there's just like some random plot twist where he's connected to someone. I don't know. Kisnaver was an interesting concept, executed poorly, but with one really good scene. That's how I would describe it. You could watch it if you want. I probably wouldn't really recommend it. There's not really anything fantastic that I would recommend. Most of my recommendations would come from S and A tier, I believe. So I would say anything in S or A, I would recommend you watching. B tier, I would recommend Death Parade generally. People would obviously recommend Attack on Titan as the anime of the decade, whatever that means. Everything else is kind of up to debate. Honestly, even looking back, these probably go here. This can stay, these stuff can stay. Yeah, all the rest of the stuff in B tier can stay. But my main recommendations would be S and A are this good stuff. Oh. What else? Let's zoom in some more so I can try to see what's going on here. This didn't watch. Sakamoto Desuka, I read some of the chapters, and I never watched. But it seemed pretty one-note gimmick. The guy's just really good at everything. Anya Saga of Evil, never watched, didn't care. I thought, isn't this like, what if you were isekai'd and you were a little girl and you become a little girl anime dictator? And it seemed a little too edgy for me. I wasn't into it. Also, it came out in like 2017 when I stopped watching anime, so. Or that stopped, I lessened my consumption. This I didn't watch. This one is Orange. I read the manga. I didn't watch the show because the show was made later in 2010. So I did read the manga. And meh. C tier, D tier, D tier. It's whatever. The Tanaka can go to E tier. I don't care for that one. This can go to E tier too now that I think about it. Yeah, this looks like D tier. Umato. Snow White with the red hair. Snow White with the red hair. Wholesome romance. Snow White with the red hair. Snow White with the red hair. Which one was that? That title sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if it's because I just recognized Snow Knight. Snow White with red hair. Oh, that one. Oh, this one. Akagami no Shiruki. Oh, this one. That one. Or is it here? It's somewhere here, isn't it? That's the only reason you... That's probably why you mentioned it, because you probably saw it before I did. It is... Am I stupid? Don't answer that. It is... Oh, here. I didn't watch it. When did it come out? This probably came out kind of when I stopped watching stuff. And, oh, yeah. Oh, no, 2015. So it came out while I was still watching stuff, but this is kind of past my rom-com era. I wasn't really watching any currently airing rom-coms during 2015. What did come out into that summer 2015? Let me see. Charlotte. I watched Charlotte. Overlord. I watched Overlord. Shimoneta. I watched Shimoneta. Dragon Ball Super came out in 2015. Really? I feel like that came out a lot longer before. Or I feel like that came out more recently. Himoto Umaru-chan. I watched that. Gate. I did not watch Gate. Gangsta was the other one. God Eater. Oh, God Eater. Very edgy though. Yeah, I was like past my edgy phase. I'm like, I don't need to watch things where like Akame ga Kill. Akame ga Kill was the nail in the coffin for my edgy phase. I just realized how ridiculous like the excessive gore and death was. Like, I've seen enough of it in Akame ga Kill. I don't really need it anymore. God Eater. There's also a time was like I didn't really care too much for the fantasy settings, and God Eater was fantasy, so I wasn't watching that. What else is there? To Love Ru. I just wasn't watching that. Jitsuwa Watashiwa I didn't watch, but I read and it was really good. Oh, Working Season 3. I watched Working. Working, where is it? I saw it earlier here. Working is an immediate A tier. Where is it? Kakeguroi, this is whatever. Didn't watch that either. This is Yuri on Ice, is that? That's Yuri on Ice, right? This is Devilman Crybaby. I've heard really good things about Devilman Crybaby, but I think it's on Netflix and I don't have streaming services and I'm too lazy to go find pirate sites. Wait, where's Working? I thought I saw it somewhere. Oh, Working. Working's A tier. Working's a fun slice of life like show about having a job. It's comedy. There are some cute moments, but for the most part, it's just comfy. I like my slice of life, all right? I like my relaxing shows to watch after a long day of being alive in the 2010s. Goshik. Oh. Tatami Galaxy. This show is basically another S tier show. This is probably my... So, Tatami Galaxy, Steins Gate, and Gurren Lagann are probably my top 3 shows. And what this show is about is, you know the movie Groundhog Day? I'm going to assume no because it's a pop culture reference. But it's basically Groundhog Day if you were in college, where this guy bemoans his terrible existence in college about how if he could do everything over again, he would join a different club and his life would be so much better. And it just shows what would happen if he actually did do that and join different clubs in college, and how he always curses his fate. And it's kind of like that. And then there's the last 2 episodes really bring everything, or the last 3 or so episodes really bring everything together. And for that reason, S tier. Is This a Zombie? Is This a Zombie was a harem, but watch it for the comedy. Is This a Zombie? Why is that the name of the show, Is This a Zombie? Because there's also another show, Is the Order a Rabbit? Where it's like, I don't remember what it is. I think it might have been Slice of Life, or also a harem. But the name of the show is The Order of Rabbit, and it just makes no sense because I don't... Or maybe it's because they worked in a cafe. I don't quite remember. I'm old and my memory is failing. Wait. Goblin Slayer, way too edgy for me. Also came out after I... Oh, there's a big list of stuff I didn't watch. Angel Beats. This was like another original tearjerker show that people loved. It was okay. It was solid for a bit. There were some comic moments, but I didn't really care for Angel Beats too much, honestly. The music was good, though. That's pretty much it. Grand Blue I didn't watch, but I read the manga. The manga is fantastic. The manga is hilarious. I don't know if the comedy translates well over into animation, though. Because I didn't watch the anime. Chainsaw with like magical girl resurrected him. Interesting. Don't remember the plot exactly. Maybe one of these is I'll just pick like one of the random things I didn't watch and just watch all of it. Sit down over the course of the day. What else is there? Oh, Seitokai Yaku and Domo. This is Dick Jokes, the anime. Fine. I'll put it in D tier. Dick Jokes the anime. It's literally just a bunch of people you've watched. Maybe you have. Maybe you have. But this is mainly from the 2010s. I've also watched stuff from the 2000s, the 90s as well, so. I really only watched stuff from the 2010s that interested me. Also, I probably was more busy than you were. I don't want to brag, but I was a pretty busy person in the 2010s as well, unfortunately, so. I also don't want to watch things that don't interest me, and for the most part, a lot of these things didn't really interest me, or I didn't care for. This one's the cooking one. This is this the horny manga one? I don't remember. Busy getting no maidens. Actually, yes, that's factual. I was very busy getting 0 maidens back in the 2010s. Oh. This is the boxing one. This is the cool boxing one. Here is Monogatari. About the brother who has a crush on his gamer sister. Oh, that one. I confused that with the one with the brother who has a crush on his hentai artist sister. These are all so similar, and I just don't care to watch them. Smile Sweet Sadistic. I only know this from the memes from that era. Ore Emo? Oh no, Ore Emo? Fuck you, Ore Emo. I hated you. You're the worst. Worse than Himoto Umuro-chan. You're F tier. Terrible ending. Terrible. Terrible show. Smile Sweet Sadistic. I only know it from the memes where it's like smile sweet sadistic sister and then surprise, and then it's the S was like surprise motherfucker. That's the only reason I know that show. High School of the Dead. High School of the Dead. This is the one with the funny boob physics. This is another turn your brain off and just watch it. It's just like etchy with zombies. Comedy Maid Cafe. Maybe one of these days I'll watch it. Maybe. But I think once it's behind me, it's behind me. What else is there? Madoka Magica I did watch. Madoka Magica is A tier. Why am I putting all the somewhat edgy deconstructions of the genre in A tier? What am I doing? Rising the Shield Hero, generic isekai. What is this? Is that Hinamatsuri? Wait. Is that Hinamatsuri? Wait a minute. Where is he? Oh my god. Where are we? Oh my god. It's Hinamatsuri. Hinamatsuri. Oh. I read the manga. I didn't watch the show. Manga is one of my favorites. Probably top 10. Maybe definitely top 20. The show I didn't watch, but based off of the manga alone, I'm putting it in A tier. I don't care. Aichiwa Maid-sama, another shoujo manga or shoujo anime that I watched. We'll put it B tier, B or C tier. I would say it's better than Ore Monogatari, simply because I think the character is more interesting. The whole dynamic of Kaicho being kind of poor and the main love interest being rich kind of adds that princely dynamic. B tier. So, what are the last few things that I'll rate? Kaguya-sama? Kaguya-sama I'm going to rate as a whole series, including the manga, because I did read all the manga. I was a manga reader of Kaguya-sama since chapter 45, I'll have you know. And for the most part, it's a fun read all around. But the ending is a bit rushed. They could still, I think, Akasaka could have pulled together the Miko and, what is it, Ishigami romance thread and maybe made them a pair. But for the most part, I feel they did what they could. So as a whole, this is manga and anime. I'll rate Kaguya-sama in A tier. Or B tier. A tier. Hinamatsuri is one of my favorite mangas, though, so I should move it up to S tier. So again, this one is based off of manga. This one is also based off of manga. But I like what I like. That Kiss Sis. I can't believe Kiss Sis ended after like 13 trillion years in serialization. Promise Neverland, I read the first couple of chapters and then I dropped it because I just didn't want to keep up. But I heard it started off really promising and then declined like every popular thing ever. What else is here? The rest of the stuff that I watch? Did I watch any of the rest of this stuff? This looks familiar. Demon Slayer I didn't watch. Because I have good taste. Monogatari I watched. Monogatari. I watched Bake Monogatari, Nisei Monogatari, Monogatari second season, Hana Monogatari. But I didn't watch some of the other Monogataris. So I don't feel confident in putting it somewhere on the tier list. But based on what I did watch, I would put it solid A or B tier. This is... Why am I blanking out? It's the one where they rate manga, but I can't remember the name anymore. It's called Baka. It starts with B, doesn't it? Oh well. I don't know. Exorcist. I think they remade this actually. I watched the original. Oh, Anohana. Anohana. I did watch. So we'll put it in A or B or whatever tier. Anohana, I'll put it in A tier just for the emotional resonance alone. So, is my... Oh, Durarara. Durarara B tier. It has... Wait, where's Bakano? They put Bakano in here? When did Bakano come out? 2009. Alright. 2009. Sag. Bakano is not in here. So this is Buddy Girl Senpai. I watched a few of the episodes, but I didn't get around to finishing it. But I think this is everything that I did watch. So a lot of the stuff I do recognize, but for the most part, my actual list is not the greatest. I feel like I watched more than this when I was initially looking through this list. But overall, this is like everything. So I don't really have anything else to say here. It's just kind of... This is what I feel. This is what I enjoyed from the 2010s. S and A tiers are recommendations. That's pretty much it. I feel like I watched more later. Because I was looking through this, I was like, oh, I know all these stuff. And then I was like, wait a minute. I don't know anything anymore. Whatever. It was fun enough. So, I gotta go to sleep now. I'm fucking tired as shit. I've got to work. So... Hope you had a good time, at least mocking my shit taste in Japanese cartoons and making fun of me or just listening to me ramble about these various things. I will go now. There's no stream tomorrow, nothing on Thursday also, I believe. I think my next one's going to be Friday at 9. This time, I think on Friday I could be on time. I think I'll finally actually be on time for that one. I think I'll just continue playing Yakuza 7. Weekend, probably do something as well. Don't really know quite what yet. Maybe I've been thinking about starting to play Stardew Valley or just like a comfy game that I can just kind of chill to. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. That's really all for today. So have a good night. Thanks for being here. I hope you have a good one. Let me just go once through. Let's see. Yep, that's all. Final list. Good night.